Welcome everyone to our June meeting. I want to say thank you to everyone who was able to make it here today, those of you online as well. If we could go ahead and call our meeting to order and have our voice roll call.
Sharon Allen, Alicia Burns, Dr. Douglas Craddock,
Present.
Kevin Fields, Jennifer Hancock,
Here.
Councilwoman Tammy Hawkins, Secretary Keith Jackson, Deputy Mayor David James.
Here.
Darlene Johnson Jones. Here. Dr. Gabe Jones,
I'm here.
Dr. Mary Milliner,
Present.
Mike Nagel, Lyndon, Chris Romaine.
Here.
Desmond Smith, Kevin Smith, Reverend David Snorton, William Summers V,
Here.
Gary Williams, Secretary Jeff Knoll.
Here.
Completes the roll.
Ready for roll call?
You just did.
Just do it. Yes, ma'am. The minutes. Over there. So at this time, we're gonna go to our public comments. We have time enough for 5 participants, 3 minutes each. If you would like to make a public comment. Anybody? I can check you.
Over here for the online.
Read it.
Okay.
1 second, we're checking for public comments for anyone online. Just 1 second.
No, there's no attendees. 0.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, good with that?
So we will go back and you have received the minutes for the March 2025 board meeting. And please, we'll take some time. You have not had the opportunity to look through those. They were distributed to you online. So you have a motion to approve the March 24th, 2025 meeting.
So moved. Second.
All in favor, say aye. All opposed? The motion is carried. And then that brings us to our President and CEO report.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's meeting. I just have a few preliminary remarks to kind of head us into the meat of what we'll be discussing today. We have an opportunity under the Finance Committee's report to consider a significant proposal from the Housing Partnership. The Finance Committee has already approved their application for funding during the Finance Committee's last meeting. And when we get to the Finance Committee report today, they will go over that in some detail with you, but it's a significant proposal and it's also historic. You'll hear more about it later in the meeting. I also want to forecast for you that prior to the time we have our next board meeting, it will be necessary for us to have a special call meeting of the Finance Committee and a call meeting of the board. We have another project that is waiting in the wings, and it is very time sensitive because it involves the use of new market tax credits. When we get to the Finance Committee report, our friends from Cornerstone Engineering are prepared to give us a preliminary look at the proposal that is before us. You won't be asked to vote on it today, but we want to give you enough information so that you are aware of what the project is about and that you'll also have a sense of why it's important for us to go forward and consider it as quickly as we can. After the meeting concludes today, I want each of you to take a look at your calendars and think about some time that you may have available for a board retreat this summer sometime. And just think in terms of what day of the week is best for you. And if you can zero in on a particular calendar date, that would be helpful. Just email me or Rita and let us know what date will work best for you for a board retreat this summer. And then finally, we have an update report from our friends at Nimbus. They have been working diligently with us on a variety of items, and they want to update us on the whole notion of image and how that is at the core of what we do and how we relate to the community. So let me defer to Dr. Wade and you and your team, and then you can go ahead and do your presentation.
We'll come up there.
Okay.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
We're back. How you doing today? As Ms. Laura mentioned, we want to keep our foot on the gas of the work that we're doing within the community. We also want to make sure that that we do our, be a good partner and recommend things we feel can make a shift for you all. So what we'll do is walk you through some awareness and engagement opportunities that we would like the board to consider. Kaja and I will double team on this. Is that big enough for everyone? Yes. So from a marketing and comms perspective, it's our job to ensure that people know what the partnership is, what you do on a daily basis. And I keep saying we, as I still sit on the board, but although not, we're still your partner from that perspective. And as that awareness is growing, and I think you all are seeing it in the community that more people know the name of what the partnership is, we want them to know what the partnership is doing on a daily basis and also how to engage. And with this organization being a long-sustaining organization, we need engagement in order to be successful, in order to have the impact that we want to have. So we are, making those strides, and we're excited to share the progress with the community, with local businesses, so everyone can get involved. We know that we have evolving board seats, and we have plans to have a strong advisory council. So we want to roll out messaging that talks to them and keeps them engaged and bring them into the fold as well. So we want to show what we're accomplishing and, talk to residents, leaders, as well as businesses in terms of how we do that. So what we're going to walk you through today is what we call Strengthen Community. And this is a campaign that's rooted in the belief that when the community comes together, great things happen. And this frames the board and council services more than just an individual opportunity, but something that's built on trust, unity, and shared commitment. And in this campaign, you're going to see how we look to try to increase awareness about what the partnership is doing, how we try to recruit neighborhood board members who reflect the voices that we want to have. And we know that these seats evolve. So we kind of want to get our queue of people in so we don't have to like go back and restart this every single time, but also have the same impact when we think about advisory council members. So we kind of have our database or our pool of people who we consider. So as someone steps off, we have a pool of people who we know we can tap to step in to serve. So what we'll do is walk you through what that looks like. So from a partnership awareness perspective, I know that, there was the grant that was given out as well as the loan. So progress is making and the partnership is getting momentum and we want people to know about that, right? So we want to build awareness and how it's going to fuel progress in West Louisville. We want to talk through collaboration, professional support, community-driven impact. And we really want to highlight the people, the moments behind the scenes and how that comes to life. So we're going to walk you through a couple scripts from a partnership perspective that talks about awareness, then some board recruitment, and then advisory council. I'll go through the first partnership awareness aspects. And these are just rough on, and no one has really seen these. So get creative in your mind in terms of how the words will jump off the paper. And it's more so to keep you all informed on what we plan to do in the future. So think about the grant and the loan that was given out and how that comes to life, right? And I'm just gonna read through the VO, and this is a long form version of it. And I'm purposely talking longer because I know you're reading at the same time, so you don't have to pay attention to my voice as much, but you'll get the gist of what we want to communicate and we talk about partnership and awareness. So when we think of this, think of the pharmacy that just got funding, right? And if this were them talking and they say, I brought my business idea to life with help from the West End Opportunity Partnership. But what really made the difference? The professionals behind the scenes investing time, insight, and belief in people like me. The partnership has provided support that will help our business expand access to essential services our community needs and create a lasting impact in West Louisville. That's what I call strength in community. Learn more about the partnership and the impact it's making here in our city at westendpartners.org. So this is very broad. We haven't dialed in on the nuances of either organization, but if we were to meet with them, we would take some nuances to talk about the Good Brothers Pharmacy or the aspect of now they're opening and what that looks like. And that in itself will be a way we talk about the progress that we've made, right? So it just really says, oh, okay, I see what the partnership is doing. We don't have to say they gave me this amount or they didn't give me this amount. It's saying the partnership has helped me because blah, 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 right? So that's one. And then here's another one that's much shorter, but if we choose not to feature an organization, we keep it more broadly and just say something like, behind every business is a village of professionals, advocates, and leaders, driving change through strength and community. The West End Opportunity Partnership is helping to shape that change. Learn more at, right? So it's ways in which people start to see, oh, this is what they're doing, without having to say we do A, B, C, D, E. And it's to get people to go to the website and then we can go deeper for engagement from that perspective. So if I'm looking at some of these ads, whether that's on social, whether that's on a billboard or wherever that might be, it's starting to give an inference as to what the organization is doing and how it may benefit me in West Louisville. Any questions on that, on those pieces before I pass it over to Kaija? Okay.
Now we'll dive into the neighborhood board perspective. And so again, the purpose here is to really encourage, people within the community, different residents, to apply for these neighborhood board seats. And doing this by highlighting, different trusted community voices within the community and, relatable leaders who have already been stepping up, whether it's with the partnership or just overall. And so, this will help continue to build that trust, which was something that was key, moving forward, and bringing awareness. That trust is an important aspect as well. That unity through different visuals, by celebrating that local identity. So showing, key places and moments regarding Louisville and the power of shared responsibility. And so with this script, again, featuring people who are local leaders within the community, Dr. Mary Milliner, and then you have Dr. Gabriel Jones as some key people here that we have featured in the VO. So starting with Dr. Milliner being, I became a board member on the West End Opportunity Partnership because I believe our future needs to reflect the people who live here. The partnership invests in West Louisville by investing in us, the people, the neighborhoods, and leaders ready to serve. Serving on the board gives us more than a voice. It gives us a real seat at the table, a chance to lead where we live. When you bring your perspective, your history, your care, you help shape what comes next. This is what strength and community looks like. Applied today at westendpartners.org. Script 2, it's given the same message, again, in a shorter form. So it's tighter, it's getting to, the key point here quicker. Featuring Michael D. Nagel from the Portland neighborhood and Dr. Milliner as well, again. Starting with Michael, when you care about your community, your neighbors, your future, it shows through the West End Opportunity Partnership. As board members, we lead with heart to shape the future of our neighborhoods. These seats let us lead where we live and create real change together. Then this is VO Together. This is strength and community. Come be a part of it. Apply today at westendpartners.org. Any questions there? I can dive into. All right.
They didn't know we were putting their names in here.
Oh.
Yeah.
Surprise.
Um, now, now I'll get into the advisory council seats. So same message, getting people to, apply for these seats, just a different target audience. So this is here to inspire leaders and business owners to apply for these seats by showing how their knowledge and their different perspectives can drive that shared progress moving forward. So here again, motivating through visuals that reflect that strength in community. So, having people together, in the visuals, highlighting real leaders whose voices and skills are already shaping West Louisville's future. So here we're featuring actually Ms. Laura Douglas, the presidency of the partnership. The VO will start with, at the partnership, we know real change takes more than good intentions. It takes experience, insight, and commitment. That's why the advisory council is necessary. Bring in business owners and leaders who understand what it takes to build opportunity in communities like West Louisville. If you've built a business, grown ideas, shaped communities, or led with purpose, your expertise belongs at this table. Because when we lead together with heart, that strengthens community. Apply today to join the advisory council at westpartners.org. Lastly, this will come from just a local business leader of you all's choice. The VO will start with, you've built a business, a network, a career, real world experience that drives progress. Now put it to work for something bigger, shaping West Louisville's future. The West End Opportunity Partnerships Advisory Council brings professionals and business leaders together to guide investments, influence decisions, and help ensure lasting impact. We need leaders like you to help build momentum in West Louisville. Your expertise, your voice, our future. That strength and community. And then ends with applying today at westendpartners.org.
That's it. Any questions, thoughts? As you can see, we've kept a lot of the ideas broad because depending on who we would work with, we would want to personalize it to that leader, that business, that board member from that perspective.
Really good. Yeah,
It was good.
Yeah.
If you all have ideas or bills or people you would recommend, that would make our jobs a lot easier as well as we start thinking about how to recruit. And from a timing perspective, we're still building this out. So this won't happen overnight. It'll take a few weeks to kind of get it into production and, keep you all a part of the process. But we just want to make sure that you all know what's coming and how we're seeing the messaging. And if you have any ideas, please let us know. Thank you all.
Great job,
Thank
guys.
you.
Thank you so much. So that will take us to our committee updates. We'll start with the finance report.
Yes, ma'am. You have a committee meeting. Looks like that we need to set the March and April financial. I think the paper sometimes.
Yes.
And the finance committee has recommended approval. So we just really need, if you have those, you got any questions on anything there, let us know. Look over them. basically our assets are staying strong with the interest income that we're making. You know, we are making some investments. But our expenses have pretty much remained the same, so I mean, still very solid, so if you have any questions about anything. If not, then we just need a vote. All in favor to accept the March and April financials? Say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? They do. That motion is carried and those are accepted. Justin, did you have anything, you've been working on the converting the accounting system? You want to give us in the budget, kind of give us an update on where you guys are?
Yeah, with the conversion is completed now, and Crow is handling your accounting, finances, and bookkeeping and financial reporting and all of that. So we took care of April, and we'll be working on May shortly to get that over to you. With the budget, Rita, I know we need to link up to go over what I sent you, the little budget draft, and then we can get that out. But that is in the works now.
That's teed up for this week.
Okay.
Anybody have any questions for Justin? Justin, you got anything else? Anybody else on your team got anything they would like to add?
No, nothing else from me.
Nope, you covered it.
Thank you guys. Thanks for all the work you guys been doing on that too. Chip, you got any updates as far as the TIF and any other information you may have?
Yeah, thank you, Rita, for giving me the Zoom. I ran longer in this meeting than I had intended. We have a meeting set up tomorrow with in Frankfurt with Gary Morris and his team. Meet with the full staff and get an update directly from them where they are with everything. So that's set. Rita and Laura and I are going there tomorrow at 12:30.
And Amy. And Amy will be with
And
us.
Amy's well, yes.
Good. Hopefully we'll get some good news.
Yeah.
Anything else? On that
Nothing else at
front?
the moment. No, apologize for the unflattering angle here from the vehicle. Sorry.
Anybody else have any questions for Chip? Thank you there, Chip.
Yes, sir.
Travis? You things you want to talk about? Yeah.
Travis is going to present the housing partnership proposal and their request for funding. And this has been before the finance committee, and it's here with the board because the finance committee approved the request. And it's been brought to the full board for the board's approval today.
This seems like a really good project from the standpoint of what we saw. But. No, I'm thinking it's what right here.
Oh, all right. Take it away, Travis.
Plugged in.
Okay.
All we have to do is just
You did
plug
share
right
screen
in.
up here. No, you should do it on your computer. Share screen on your computer. Share screen. Oh, it's not up there.
No,
Oh, because they didn't send me the, okay, because they didn't send me the link. Okay, Travis.
Just plug it right back in. Oh.
Yeah, this is, did you plug this in here, the HDMI?
HDMI.
Okay, and it should pop right up,
Yeah.
because it just did from my computer. You want to just send it to me real quick, and then I'll put my computer back up here? I haven't done it from here. I'm sure you can though. Mhm. Yeah, we can from here.
Push this and then share.
Share content. Like share screen.
HDI able into device.
Like share screen, right here. Use Zoom as. Like, click that, see?
While we're waiting, just
Yes.
shameless
Sorry.
plug, sorry. If anyone is free on Saturday, this coming Saturday from 9 to noon, the Race for Justice is going on with students from JCPS who, it's all student-led organization, and they are using funding that is collected from the people who are walking or running. I'm doing a virtual walk. But using that funding to help organizations in our community. So if you want to come out, it's free and open to the public. It's at the Norton Sports and Learning Center. They're gonna have bouncy houses, all kind of stuff. Excuse me, food vendors, there'll be live entertainment. So if anybody wants to come out and support some of the local businesses, come on out. So
Again,
that's, the actual race starts at 8:30 in the morning. So, if you want to come out that early, but it's from 8:39 to noon.
Yeah, I did.
Okay. All right.
And, I will have my table there. So come on out and get a biscuit or two.
This is actually a race. Could you explain?
Yes, they have, people sign up, and you can sign up as an individual, a virtual runner or walker like I'm going to do, or a team. And the money that's collected through those signups, they're using that money to fund or to help support organizations in the neighborhood. I think this year they're doing a couple organizations that help with women who don't have access to child child care, those kinds of things. They do some things that have to do with people who may need funding for like food insecurity, that kind of stuff. And it's all run by children who attend JCPS schools.
Okay.
So, for the individual, it's $25 to walk or run, and they're still looking for people they're trying to get 500 participants this year. So I know that they were only at 150 or so when I signed up, but this is my 4th year being a part of it. So again, come on out and support your neighborhood.
So we're now ready, Travis. 100 times out of 100 times, it comes up when we put the HDMI cord, but it acted finicky today.
Thank you very much.
No problem.
Apologize for the technical difficulties. As Laura mentioned earlier, the funding request that is before you today is from HPI, the Housing Partnership. The project is the Gateway on Broadway project. It is the 1405 West Broadway. The request is $4,695,505 over 7 years, with a huge balloon payment coming back in September of 2025, another balloon payment coming back in June of 2026, with then the payments being spread out between 150,000 to 226,000 over the next 7 years, and then 160,000 4% interest payment in the 8th year. Scroll up a little bit in case some of us that may not be familiar with HPI. Andrew Pauls is their CEO. He's been over 3 decades of experience in affordable housing development. As a recognized leader in the field, he oversees strategy, finance, compliance, and community partnership. Under his leadership, HPI has expanded its footprint across Louisville and the state, securing millions in public and private funding, while remaining mission focused on equity and affordability. Founded in 1990, so they've been in business for over 30 years. Through the Leadership Louisville Bingham Fellows Initiative, HPI is mission-driven 501c3. It's a nonprofit that's created over 10,000 affordable housing units, served more than 50,000 families. With a proven track record in both multifamily and single-family housing, HPI is one of Kentucky's most accomplished nonprofit developers. The organization maintains strong financial health directly owning $56 million in assets, managing over 100 million in total holdings through affiliated partnerships. HPI is skilled at building and maintaining strategic partnerships with various stakeholders, ensuring effective delivery on housing services and maximizing resource utilization. HPI is also rated as an exemplary organization by Neighborhood Works America, and is a member of the Housing Partnership Network. The organization emphasizes community benefit by embedding services within neighborhoods, creating jobs, and facilitating nonprofit collaboration under resource communities. The reason why HPI is requesting funding from the partnership, because it's for the first floor build out. This part of the project is not covered under the tax credits that they've received. So they're looking for some funding to finish out the first floor. Project summary: HPI is requesting support in Gateway on Broadway first floor build out, a component of a broader mixed use development that includes affordable residential units, ground floor commercial retail space, a community resource center, which Dr. Gabe, I think you're on the call. You asked about that earlier in the finance meeting, and we did get a declaration that that resource center would definitely receive the funds allocated, if allocated, to HPI, and that resource center will be at the top of things to do. And we have that in writing. And a new warehouse facility to support the organization's construction and maintenance division. The project is designed to advance the economic revitalization of the Russell neighborhood by creating spaces for community serving enterprises and localizing employment opportunities. The funding requested from the partnership will specifically be allocated toward the build out of the first floor and the adjacent warehouse. The warehouse is going to actually house their construction team and their maintenance team, which will create job opportunities here in the West End. These components are not eligible for basis on the low-income housing tax credits, as I mentioned earlier, finance residential structure, but are essential to ensuring uninterrupted construction and long-term sustainability of the project. The total development cost of the project exceeds $50 million. The requested funding will be repaid through a structured distribution from project-generated excess cash flow with a forecast final repayment in 2034. That's that 4% interest payment that I mentioned earlier. Mixed-use redevelopment transforms a vacant 5-story warehouse, which I'm sure we're all familiar with that warehouse right there, into a center of housing and community activity. The residential floors provide 116 units of affordable housing for low-income seniors. The first floor funding is in part by partnership will deliver a community resource center, as I mentioned, Office for Health and Bank Services, Heiser Hearing Institute, and First Financial have already committed to moving into the first floor. HBI headquarters will also be now located in the West End, so they can service the facilities that they currently have here in the West End. They'll be right on site now. HBI headquarters and their warehouse facility. Office for nonprofits, there are spaces for nonprofit, which I'll touch on a little bit later. They've already committed to working with Good Brothers, which was one of the first initiatives that we brought to this board. Forecasted timeline: the project timeline encompasses all construction phases and associated steps that will be utilized in the process of the project becoming operational. 6/23, of course, construction started. First floor build out started last November. They've received TCOs for the second and third floor, as long as the fourth and fifth floor. That's your temporary certificate of occupancy. That means that they've done everything that they needed to do for permitting, so they're ready to go. And the second and third floor are actually already rented out. 525 residential second and third floors will get their CO, which is their certificate of occupancy. 625 residential fourth and fifth floors will get their CO. And in August, the Community Resource Center will be open and ready for business. And in September, HPI will be relocating their headquarters to the Gateway on Broadway. Market analysis: 1405 West Broadway Apartments project will transform a long vacant industrial building into a vibrant 116 unit apartment community. Thoughtful design for older adults. Every unit will be supported through project-based rental assistance provided by Louisville Metro Housing, ensuring long-term affordability and housing stability for residents. Study confirms that the demand for this type of housing is significant. With rental assistance, the market capture is 2.8%, and even without it, it's 6.2%. So in most developments like this, 20% is, if you're below 20%, that's pretty good. But being at 2.8% just shows there's a need for this type of facility in the area. These findings, along with consistently high occupancy rates at similar apartment communities in the area, signal a strong and immediate need. The development is expected to lease up and reach stability within a few months of opening. Neighborhood data reflects the opportunity this project has to address the needs of long-term residents. Many older adults are currently living in housing that no longer meets their accessibility or comfort needs. With the local population of residents aged 55 and older steadily increasing, projected to reach 29% by 2026, this community will serve as an essential addition to the area's housing landscape. The location offers convenient access. Down just a little bit. Yeah, the location offers convenient access to transit, healthcare services such as Park Duval Community Health Center, which is right next door. Community resources. The finished property will provide safe, modern living spaces that enhance quality of life and set a high standard for similar developments in the area. This initiative is also aligned with broader community development goals. It supports strategies to reinvest in the area, connect neighborhoods across historic divides, provide opportunities for residents to remain rooted in their community. Importantly, several of the future residents will be older adults relocating from Beecher Terrace. All of the Beecher Terrace seniors that were displaced have first right of refusal for this property. And like I said, the second and third floor have already been leased out. The marketing analysis affirms that this development is well positioned to succeed without requiring changes. Demand is expected to remain high thanks to demographic trends and sustained community investment, reinforcing the project's lasting value to the neighborhood and its residents. Gateway on Broadway, the loan request timeline and repayment structure. Loan overview, HPI is requesting $4,695,505, as I stated earlier, over 7 years. 66% of that will go toward the commercial build out. 11% will be some of the smaller areas which nonprofits can move in, or like-minded businesses like Good Brothers. There's actually a space, 700 square feet, that'll be perfect for Good Brothers to move into. And HPI has already said if they're interested, they'll be willing to let them move in there for their second location here in the West End. And then there's the warehouse construction. Breakdowns of the funds. $3,135,651 construction funding, $559,854 for the commercial space, $1 million for the warehouse, and $160,000 added on. That's the total debt service with that 8th year balloon payment. The payment timeline goes as follows. Construction completion and the cost certification, September 25. The 4th low-income housing tax credit in June of 26. Final payment with interest going from 2023 and 2034. On a little bit right there. Okay, so the $1.8 million will come back in September. $1.49 million, 2025, this year. $1.4 million will come back June 2026. Then over the next 7 years, $1.5 million, the remainder of the debt service will be spread across that 7 years with that final payment that I mentioned coming in the 8th year. The total forecast for their entire capital stack, as you see, the total budget was over $50 million. It's at $52 million. They basically took care of a lot of things with some tax credits they received. And they were just short a little bit. They had a gap and they want to finish out with that request of $4.6 million. HPI is financially sound. They have over $56 million in directly owned assets. So it's not like this is someone that's requesting funds that doesn't have property. So I'm sure the finance people and the attorneys will get together, but it's a pretty good bet that you can recoup your funds if things go left, but we don't predict that will happen. more than $100 million in control holdings, clean audit reports spanning back over the last 15 years, no defaults on any liabilities in 35 years, full compliance with federal and state housing regulations, including annual audits under uniform guidance. HPI has submitted financial documentation. These materials have been provided to Crow along with others on the finance committee that wanted to go through them. So those have already been looked at. Their development track record, as many of you may know, they have several developments in the West End and beyond. Zion 2 is a $7 million senior resident. Montgomery Apartments is a 24-unit multifamily workforce housing development in the Portland neighborhood. York Towers, renovation of 89 historic units in downtown Louisville. Middletown Apartments, an 89-unit community serving individuals with physical disabilities, including 50 studios and 39 one-bedroom apartments. As you see, several of their projects have had substantial budgets, $7 million, $2 million, $7 million, $16 million. Community benefits, as I've mentioned earlier, they're serving the displaced residents of Beecher Terrace, and they have a handshake deal with those from Dosca Manor as well. So they're also talking to them because Beecher Terrace has first right of refusal, but those at Dosca Manor that want to apply, want to move in, they're more than welcome. They've already been in talks with them. They're delivering services on site. The first floor will house a community resource center, as I stated, offering health screenings, job readiness programs, financial counseling, and nonprofit hosted services, ensuring access for low income and transit reliant residents. Anchoring economic activity, co-locating HPI's headquarters and maintenance division in West Louisville will create job opportunities and reduce service delivery times across the region. Go up a little bit more. MBE, WBE participation, which we've requested of those that are applying for funding. They have several minorities, contractors that they've engaged with. The furniture company is a minority contractor, and the project management company is a minority contractor. And there'll also be oversight to ensure compliance for the first 12 months after that is done. So by the time the project is completed, that oversight will be there to make sure that that is continued and hopefully increased, as a matter of fact. Community programs, home buyer education and counseling, HPI's HUD certified courses help individuals understand budgeting, credit, mortgage processes, and sustainable home ownership. These low-cost services empower families to move from renting to ownership with confidence. Down payment assistance through programs like capital magnet funds and the Beyond Ninth initiative, HPI has provided more than $939,000 in down payment support for 42 families since 2019. The Beyond Ninth initiative, HPI launched this program to address housing blight and promote Black ownership in West Louisville, 9 neighborhoods. Since its inception, the program has acquired 300 vacant homes, renovated 120 homes in 18 months, delivered 135 affordable home ownership opportunities, and again, provided $939 in down payment assistance to 42 families. And this just lays that out. The homes acquired, homes renovated, affordable units, and the households with grants. You can scroll up a little bit more. Community impact. HBI has leveraged over $1 billion in funding since its founding. The organization is committed to equitable hiring practices, actively engaging MBE, WBE, and DBE vendors and prioritizing local workforce development. The project serves to build out will benefit current and future residents by increasing access to critical commercial services and job training programs. The facility will also support construction-related employment for West End residents. A little bit more. Community services at anticipated services housed on the first floor include home buyer education, health and wellness programs, financial literacy, banking access, and job readiness programs. HPI will provide access to employment opportunities in partnership with local agencies. Health services, the on-site houser hearing, as I mentioned earlier, Institute will provide hearing care services. First Financial Bank will operate a branch offering convenient access to financial services for residents. community engagement. HPI has engaged with a diverse range of stakeholders to garner support for this project. This includes outreach to New Direction Housing Corporation, Louisville Central Community Centers, Habitat for Humanity. Thank you, Mr. Fields. Central High School Leadership Program and additional community-based partnerships. These entities have participated in stakeholder meetings and provided feedback and input to ensure the proposal aligns with community priorities. Accessibility, the project site is located along a transit accessible corridor in Russell neighborhood, ensuring ease of access for patrons, employees, and service providers. Additional documentation, again, that documentation, as same as the other initiatives, but that documentation has been added to the shared folder. Anyone that does not have access to that folder, you can just contact us and we'll grant you access. But I believe just about the majority of the finance committee has it, but anyone else that wants it, you're more than welcome. And this is some of the photos from the actual property, the 1-bedroom senior apartment. Everything is renovated in this building. There's 1 bedroom with dens and 2 bedrooms. Keep scrolling. And these are just some of the photos. Some of the 2 bedrooms, they kept actually some of the artwork from the graffiti artists in the building, and they're also going to use some of those same graffiti artists to do some of the artwork on the actual warehouse that's next door. You can keep going for them. Again, there's a common area on every floor, so people will be able to socialize. They won't be isolated just to stay in their units. There's free storage in the basement. And again, HPI was currently, their construction team was in a 500 square foot space. Now they're moving, you can scroll up one more time, to it. This warehouse is 18,000 square feet. They have 36 employees. They were in an 8,000 square foot facility as far as their office employees go. So now they'll go to 12,000 square feet. So this increase in footprint, as well as being right here where they're doing their work, will be critical to them. I mean, and also that's going to automatically add employment opportunities here in the West End. Here's the layout here. They've actually said that if Good Brothers would like, they could possibly move into this space here. The Community Resource Center is here. This is a 3,000 square foot area, and this will be done by August and ready to be utilized. The warehouse is on this side again. That will house their construction and maintenance department. Scroll up a little bit. And again, they provided a letter of declaration committing to stating that 116 of those apartments have Beecher Terrace has first right of refusal, that they're willing to work with Good Brothers as well, and the Community Resource Center will be up and going. These are the things that we requested of them, and they did not hesitate to do. They provided everything that we've asked of them. Again, it's a $4.6 million ask, yes, but the return rate is quicker than anything I've ever heard of.
Go back to the slide that has the payback schedule.
Roll down.
Because it is remarkable.
Mhm.
It's around page 4.
What page?
The payback schedule.
What page is it in the
4.
booklet? Page 4 in your booklets that you have in front of you?
Here we
4
go.
and 5.
4 and 5.
$1.8 million returned September 2025. $1,495,505 returned June 2026. Then 1.5 million spread out over 7 years, then a balloon payment in the 8th year. And Dr. Gabe, I believe William wanted you to be able to have a chance to say something about the project.
Sure, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes. And see you.
Excellent. Okay, thank you all. Yeah, so I think I said this before in the finance committee meeting. So I was actually able to visit this space with a group of Russell residents and business owners before I was aware of this application. Everybody that I visited with on that trip was very excited about this project. When I circled back to talk to folks in Russell, once I was informed of this application, Again, everybody was very excited. Everybody felt positively about this and about funding this project. The question that I did get that was answered on the front end of this presentation was there were a couple of residents that wanted to be sure that the common area on the first floor that was for community would be completed and that these funds wouldn't maybe be used for the headquarters space with the community space coming later. And so I believe that was clarified on the front end of this. That's pretty much all that I have. I didn't find any residents that I talked to, which was around, I'd say 40 to 50 people. There wasn't a single person that felt negatively about this. That doesn't mean that everybody in the community feels good about it, but everyone that I talked to did. So that's all I got.
Questions? Comments? Jennifer?
I have a couple of questions. One is related to the LMHA commitment of project-based vouchers. Has that commitment been confirmed recently
Yes. Yes.
with
Yes. it has.
Elizabeth
Mhm.
specifically? Okay, I was just curious about that because I know that there's been a moratorium placed on vouchers.
Yeah, they actually got all of theirs realized before there was any disruption at all.
Okay, and I may have missed this, but I was curious about why the request is 4.7 when the gap is 1.4.
Well, because they want to build out the warehouse as well, and the gap was just for just the base construction on the first floor, but they want to add these different resources. So there was an increase in cost there. So they actually want to do more than they originally planned to do is when they first sat down and planned out the project.
Like the partner space, it sounds like the
Yes.
nonprofit shared.
Yeah, a cafe, the partner space,
Okay,
being able to provide a kitchenette in the resource center. So different things like that. Yes, sir.
Yeah, this is a wonderful project, especially considering the state of many of these buildings that the seniors in the West End are now living in.
Yes.
If you've ever been in any of them,
Yes.
you want to run out as soon as you get in, okay? I mean, but the one thing that you did not mention, is parking. And we know that there's really no on-street parking at that location. So can you go over that with us just a little bit?
Well, right there on that front side, there's some parking there. If you can go down to that picture. Currently, you can't park there because they have all their construction equipment there. But there's actually some space right here on this front side. And there's a little bit of space on the back side where the warehouse is at as well. But this entire area in the front will be all parking.
Which would accommodate how many spaces, would you say?
Exactly how many spaces, I'm not 100% certain of, but I could find that out very quickly for you.
First of all, I know the company and I'm not negative on the project, but I want to actually make sure we're explaining what I think I understand.
Mhm.
I mean, this project started in 23. They got low-income housing tax credits from the state passed down. That's the statewide allocation. And they ran short on the phase of the project by 1.4 million. So part of this request is seeking a funding gap to finish the 1.4 million. And then the others is obviously the community center and things which I believe would have been required with the tax credits to have either been completed or some sort of intended use in that space. So it may well be they're even over budget beyond the 1.4 million, but I'm not too concerned about that. I'm just trying to make sure we understand
Right.
that the request is to cover a shortfall in the original project.
Yes. Though there was a $1.4 million gap. You're
Correct.
absolutely right.
At this stage of the project.
Mhm.
Furthermore, the way the structure is, there is no lien position available for the $4 million loan on any of the assets.
Mhm.
So this is a unsecured repayment of which a third of it or a fourth of it is tied to budget shortfalls of the original project. Now, I like the way they've done it because there is, if they get everything completed, there is the ability to sell off, and I'm assuming these are the lower floaters of the tax credits that will come back and pay 1 point something million. So I feel better about the gap, especially if we could understand why that gap was created? Was it just cost of construction went up? I don't know. I just would like to understand that. But then it's clear that there is no security for repayment of the loan.
Let me offer this a couple of things. One of the things that Travis talked about and that we did go over at the Finance Committee, it's critical to look at HPI's financial performance. They have built a number of properties. They have never,
That's why I said right up front.
never
I'm not-
defaulted on
I'm
any.
not concerned at all. I mean, I think they're a great group. I just wanted to make sure the explanation that's in our minutes is clear relative to what they're asking and how they're proposing to structure. So all I'm trying to do is make sure we have that with our eyes wide open. And quite candidly, there's a legal question I want to ask relative to the structure of the original TIF. I mean, this would be a no-brainer if you could do the anticipatory TIF financing, which in effect, I think you still can, which is just a way of carving out and looking at the prospective tax payments as another way of showing where our securitized interest is, that under the TIF, and I'm not going to get into the revenue cabinets, you got to still have the baseline. But everything incremental on this project is coming back to the West End
Yes.
partnership.
Yes.
And candidly, the only thing that I wish we could do, which I'd like to understand if we could, TIF financing or anticipatory TIF financing actually gives you a superior lien position over even the federal and state housing authorities, because obviously property taxes have to be paid. Not sure we can carve that out. I don't get to vote. I'm very much in favor of the project. I just want to make sure something this large, we're evaluating it and understanding it, and maybe even trying to find ways under our TIF, we can show some enhanced cash flow or the ability to claim that cash flow in the unlikely event of a default that puts us in a better position than with no security whatsoever. So I'm not speaking against, I'm trying to understand how to structure the deal.
One of the hedges for us is that very aggressive payback schedule.
If they have the capacity to pay it back.
Yes, because, well, again, they have never defaulted on any of their other loans.
Completely.
And what they have proposed is an 8-year payback schedule, which is pretty impressive. And first, with about $1.5 million in September of this year, and then the following year, the same amount. So there is a hedge there for us based on that aggressive payback
If
schedule.
they have capacity to pay back. I'm not speaking on this, but I'm just trying to make sure we understand all of the particulars. And also, if we start seeing more of these, because right now, until we understand if there's ever going to be an answer from revenue cabinet about where we are on the balances, it's pretty big percentage of the total cash. And the only thing I'm trying to understand is, are there ways we can further enhance this using or carving out or making sure we understand how that TIF revenue can be further applied to this? And I'm just trying to say that in the event of default, we can get that so we can get our principal back. But I just want to make sure we're looking at some of these issues as you start to think about others. And I just also, which was a fine presentation, but to me, being a son of a banker, and I know everybody says, well, Jeff's an SOB already tonight, but I just want to make sure we're understanding the deal.
Mhm.
And if we're going to be in favor, I just want to make sure we understand it. And it is truthfully a cash gap loan, which is okay, happens all the time. You can go back and make sure we understand why there was the gap. It is unsecured. And even though they're offering an 8-year payback, it's still unsecured. And in the event of default, we would not be in a position unless, are they guaranteeing the loan through their corporate or personal, which all the things I didn't know and I didn't read in here. I'm just asking those questions.
Which generally, like the other two initiatives that came before the board, the terms of the actual financial agreement, Amy and Crow ended up working that out, which that can be done and that'll be shared.
Okay. They're just questions I was asking, trying to make sure I understand, because this is a pretty good size loan.
One thing to emphasize too, although we did not incorporate your suggestions regarding use of the TIF funds specifically allotting into this project, recollect that Travis did talk about the amount of assets that they had. Those assets would be available to us in the event of default, that we could attach them if we needed to. Whether or
That
not,
means we're getting
We don't,
corporate guarantees,
yeah, but we're
not
not,
subsidiary guarantees.
yeah, but we're not going to have, yeah, like a priority lien or anything, but there would be assets available to execute on.
and certainly it is a balance. There's a balance. That 8-year payback is very attractive.
From
I'm
your
not
standpoint, look,
extending
you're
the
looking
loan.
at it, you're looking at it purely from a bank standpoint. And this, we couldn't structure it from a bank standpoint the way that it's being structured here. So the risk is a little, definitely more than what a bank would do. But based upon their balance sheet and based upon their history and based upon the impact that it is going to have in the community, it's something that we should be looking at.
Correct, and I want to be really crystal clear, I said right up front, I know these folks, I think they're great. I just wanted to make sure that it is being presented, it's being presented in both lenses
100%.
for the community benefit, but also the reality of the loan. And I mean, I don't get to vote, but I have no problems. I think it's a great type of a transaction. It's just incorporating clear understanding what you're getting into. And I've been involved in too many community loans where look like a great balance sheet. When things go awry, collections are not nearly as easy as it sounds. And so all I'm trying to say is I just wanted to understand the clarity of the transaction, the structure that's going to be used. As long as there's a corporate guarantee, then you have a chance of getting some of those assets, which I suspect are not net worth assets. They are gross assets that they have, which is fine. I just want to make sure we're all doing it with our eyes wide open and still making the decision based upon the benefits to the community.
But I think that the point that he does make from a standpoint, if it is unsecured and if once you do that, if we don't attach something, if we look at, it's tougher to go back and do that. So I mean, we may want to look from that when we are
We'd have an
underwriting,
opportunity still.
when we do that, to look at making sure that we do that, because even though it from a bank perspective, depending on where we are, it could still be deemed unsecured, but if we have a security interest in it, it could still help us down the road if indeed
Yeah.
we do get it, have some submissions.
High quality
This is-
person, great company. I'm not belittling any of that. I just want to make sure we talk about it.
Yes, sir.
I had one other concern here. You had mentioned that you have several minority contractors that will be involved in this project. However, we do know that there's an assault on DEI currently. So let me ask you, what assurances or what percentages of minority participation? And I'm not talking about the finished project, I'm talking about the construction. What percentage is this project still moving toward? Or what is their goal in that regard?
Well,
And what are the assurances that even though that might be a goal, what are the assurances that, is there federal funding involved in this project?
All of their funding is from the tax credits from the Kentucky housing.
Mhm.
But when they sign that CFE, the criteria for fund eligibility, there is a minority participation, not goal requirement.
Okay.
We provide that oversight. So just as I would assume with anyone else, I mean, you can run away from it if you want to, but we'll be right there ensuring and asking, show us the proof, who's on the project. So
it's like 20%.
What is that percentage, please?
it's actually 35. It follows MSD's model.
Okay.
Yeah.
35%.
So we follow MSD's model with MBE, WBE, and DBE participation. And again, that's with any other project. You have to actually stand over people and make sure they're doing the right thing sometimes. But with HPI, I will say they have been deliberate in their intent, and it's been expressed to them that this is not a goal. It is not a good faith effort. It is a requirement per the criteria for fund eligibility that you acknowledged and agreed to.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Great, Gabe has his hand up.
Dr. Gabe?
Yeah, I just had a quick question. So Secretary No I think that was who it was talking about sort of the things that he wanted us to understand on the front end about this. And I just wanted to clarify from my own understanding, were there action items associated with that? Or were there things that we need to be adjusting or changing? Or was it just something that you want us to know right now as we think about moving forward?
Dr. Jones, I'm not trying to propose action items. I just wanted to make sure that the transaction itself, yes, through the lens of a banker, was clearly understood. And yes, I see there's an aggressive payback. Payback still depends upon capacity.
Right, yeah.
And I'm not, I said from the very beginning, I know these folks, think they're great, think this is a great project. But I just feel in my, whatever my role is, and I don't vote, is I just feel like that if you're going to look at that kind of a loan, the fundamentals of the transaction need to be fully understood. And then you still make it because you know it's a good thing for the community, and there's really the reason for taking the risk is the history of the company and the ability to do it. But in the event something were to go awry, at least the minutes reflected the fact the presentation accurately described the transaction terms and conditions. Yes, it may sound harsh. It sounds like a banker, but I think it's still really important to say the fundamentals. Part of the loan is they have a shortfall in their original construction project. It's 1.6 million. It's not uncommon. It happens, and they explain it. Secondly, they are looking for some additional funds to fit out what I suspect is required to fit out. It sounds like the residents want to fit it out. So maybe there was additional shortfall. I don't know. And last, even though there is an aggressive payback, it is payback only based upon capacity because it's actually, even the wording is tied to cash flow and being able to monetize the tax. I just feel like understanding those and understanding those types of situations is really important to have as the vote comes forward. And just as important to then do just what you did, which was an excellent job of articulating all the community benefits and all the reasons for doing it. And if you do that and your eyes are wide open, I think it just makes much stronger in terms of understanding kinds of transactions and the way we're looking at it, just to be able to articulate. There are risks with this, albeit in this kind of work and with the benefits that come and the fact that the construction risk is mostly behind them. There's real reasons to want to do this. I just wanted to make sure the understanding of the type of transaction was made clear. That's all I was.
And we
And
did,
again, go ahead.
oh, I was just going to say, we do thank you for helping us to focus in on all of the parameters that are there. One of the things that we talked about early on, I think it was when we were doing the Good Brothers transaction. We do need to be aware of the perspective of the traditional lender of the banking community. But in truth, our role is larger than that. For us, in addition to looking at the dollars and cents and the traditional banking evaluation, we have to also analyze carefully the community benefit, analyze carefully the reputation and record of the organization that's approaching us for funding, and to think very carefully about the significance of this particular project and the importance of our organization playing a role in its development and it coming to fruition. Every resident of West Louisville knows that building because it has been an eyesore forever. We have an opportunity here, I think, to balance what we know carefully about the banking parameters, along with what we know is important and of value to the community. And that piece is, I think, the impetus for us to go forward. If it were not for us, then the question would become, would this project even happen? Would it happen?
Already.
But they had that shortfall you keep telling us about that needs to be addressed.
I'm not telling you about short.
No, we
It's
are
right there in the
aware.
presentation.
Yeah, we are aware of that. We are aware that this is not perfect. If they were perfect, they would go to Republic or Fort. you know, but they've come to us because of these carbuncles. So we, again, our view, I think, is to take all of what you said into account in a very realistic way. But there are other equally important factors that we need to.
And I want to be crystal clear because I feel like I said at the very beginning, both times I made the comment, great organization, understand the project. I just wanted to make sure that somewhere in the minutes or somewhere in this open discussion, the realities of the type of the transaction were discussed.
Yes.
And I also pointed out, I still think that part of the opportunity is to always be looking for ways as an organization to mitigate risk while still enhancing the work of the project.
Right.
And I pointed out that if it were an anticipatory TIF financing, your securitization is actually better taken care of than if you were the first mortgagee on the property by virtue of the superiority of how a property tax payment takes precedence even over traditional lending. Whether or not we could do that, I don't know. But I think for the next 20-something years that we have this, trying to understand every transaction in ways that we can strengthen the underwriting without jeopardizing the project. It's just an opportunity to always be looking, is all I was really.
Jeff, to
trying
your
to
point.
take.
To your point, though, there is a section in the CFE, the policy that this board approved, that asks of the applicant, do you express compliance with the recommendations provided by the partnership's financial consultant? So what Amy and Crow put on the table, they've already said that they will comply to by that acknowledgement. So to your point, yeah, I
I'm
get it.
saying they're a very good group. I didn't say
Yeah,
anything
we-
negative about the group.
No. I'm just saying that it's built in there though, that if you want this deal, whatever they put on the table between the partnership comes back to you with, then you're gonna say you're willing to comply or walk away.
If I may, I think the question is well taken, and I just want to maybe lift up, every group that comes is not going to be HPI. And I think that is important
Right.
because it means that we're going to have this conversation a lot, and we're going to be doing it with organizations that don't have the balance sheet and history of
Yeah.
assurances there. And some of those organizations still need to be funded
Indeed.
at this level. Right? And
Indeed.
so the thing that I guess that I take away from this is not so much, and this is kind of to Gabe's question, is not so much that we need to make a knee-jerk reaction in terms of changing a policy, but perhaps in future presentations, if there's an opportunity to do a side-by-side that says, all right, here's the risk, to just point, this is what this is, and here's the benefit. That allows for all of the board, because I know you all do in the finance committee and Crow does that sort of deep dive, and you get to come and present that. But for all of the board members to be able to look and say, like, all right, cool, we're talking about essentially $4.6 million that arguably we may not get back, right? Like that is essentially what you're saying, right? Like we know that that's not going to be the case, but are we okay with that risk considering the benefit, right? Like, and that is going to be the question that I think we all the board members have to ask every time we have one of these projects. And like I said, particularly when it becomes somebody who is not HPI, right? Like, and I don't want us to have this conversation and start to get scared because somebody else doesn't bring the same type of balance sheet, somebody doesn't bring the same history. We've got to be willing to continue into this risk. But to your point, we do need to do it eyes wide open and be able to say, this is why we're going to do it. And so that just could be a minor adjustment. I don't know how you might do that, Travis, in the future presentations, but to be able to lay out like, here's a clear risk, but here's why
We
we're
can
going to
pull a
continue.
high level from some of those conversations we have in the finance committee. We can pull some high level data from those
That would be
conversations.
helpful because you're getting some of your, no matter what happens, you're gonna get some money back based upon property tax revenues and even some of the wage credits on the TIF, which is why I did a very good job. I obviously explained it, but you just did much better. Seeing that's all I wanted to do was just make sure it's part of the presentation. And yes, the incremental benefits that come to our organization, that should be seen too, because I almost view that as like a way of reducing the risk as you evaluate it. And I'm not trying to say we shouldn't be doing these. Y'all knew the kinds of transactions I've done in my past. This is very solid, but I always was trained, you talk about the realities of it going in. It's all I was really trying to put together.
Well, when I asked you the question, it was a two-part question.
Yes.
You answered the one about minority participation, 35%, but you never addressed the fact, is there federal money involved in this project? And if so, how much?
No, there's
No federal money.
no, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, any other comment? Question? So again, the finance committee has recommended approval, but we really just need to vote on this. So, all in favor of the Housing Partnership, Inc. loan to complete this project, say aye.
Aye.
Is there any, thank you, is there any opposed? All right, that does carry. The motion does carry, so we did get this approved. And I just want to say, let me tell you something, I really appreciate the conversation. Because of it, you really, I mean, you look at, yeah, you look at it, I mean, it's true, because basically, you know, we are funding deals based on projections, and that would never happen from a bank perspective. But we got to find the organizations that, you know, have an idea and are doing some things that can make the communities that we're focused on and our mission. And I think this deal is one of them. And to your point, there are going to be companies that don't have these assets, that don't have the credibility. But you know what? We still got to look at them and give them an opportunity as well. So, and that's what we are here to do. So, I appreciate everybody's comments. I appreciate just the conversation, but we need to do it with our eyes open. And like I said, hopefully we'll do what our mission has told us to do, and we'll create the economic vibrancy in these areas that we're trying to do.
Chair Summers, just for clarification, that was a unanimous vote, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Now, I was just gonna say, remember when we teed up, Travis, we indicated that we had two matters to discuss. We're gonna try to get through the second one, Travis, really, really quickly, but it's also very important. This is a matter that we'll need to have a special finance committee meeting and a special board meeting to discuss, because we are again dealing with new market tax credits, and credits will expire June 15th.
June 15th.
So it's going to be necessary for the board to have a meeting before that day to consider this a new matter that Travis is going to tell us about.
And again, we will present a full presentation whenever that special meeting is held. This was just to give you a quick, brief summary of the Opportunity Village project. This is a Goodwill project right on 29th and Broadway. You can scroll up a little bit. So Opportunity Village is a 76-unit, 4-story affordable housing development co-developed by Goodwill Industries of Kentucky and Walter Cooper Development, located at 2820 West Broadway on Goodwill's existing Opportunity campus in the Parkland neighborhood of West Louisville. It is actually the NIA Center building.
Yes.
The development represents the final phase of Goodwill's supportive housing continuum, offering stable, affordable housing to individuals who have progressed through workforce reentry, and personal development programs include those impacted by poverty, addiction, or the justice system. These residents will have previously completed transitional housing phases through Goodwill's programs and demonstrated employment stability, savings, and sobriety. While permanent in design, the project directly addresses the gap in affordable housing for second chance citizens who have taken steps to rebuild their lives. The project budget is $21 million. The funding request is a $2.1 million equity investment via the purchase of the NIA Center and its parcel of land, approximately 3 acres. Goodwill's equity commitment is $500,000 for demolition. The timeline, purchase in mid-2025, construction completed late 2027. There'll be 48 one-bedrooms, 28 two-bedrooms. Of course, again, the low-income tax housing tax credits that Laura just mentioned are attached. There's $14.8 million in equity right now through the tax credits, which are scheduled to expire in mid-June. The tax credits are not eligible to finance the property acquisition itself. Therefore, Goodwill is seeking additional support to complete the purchase and move the project forward. Goodwill forecasts sustained financial performance with projected net operating income of $58,000 annually post stabilization and no soft debt payments. In addition to financial strength of the development itself, the partnership's investment structure through the acquisition of the land has potential to appreciate significantly over time, with over $70 million in surrounding developments, including North Healthcare expansion, Dare to Care headquarters, and ongoing corridor revitalization. The value of this strategically located parcel is likely to increase by the time the tax credit investors have fully realized their returns. And the Norton piece is directly related to the deal. Because if the partnership comes in and buys the parcel, Goodwill has agreed to sell their parcel of land that's adjacent to Norton. Then that will allow Norton to expand the hospital itself. Goodwill Industry of Kentucky currently has site control of the Opportunity Campus on 28th and Broadway. A $2.1 million equity investment from the partnership will enable the purchase of the adjacent NIA Center at 2900 West Broadway, securing a critical parcel for Opportunity Village. This acquisition not only expands Goodwill campus footprint, but also unlocks the ability to sell the adjoining land, which I just mentioned, to Norton Healthcare for the future expansion of the Norton West Hospital. Goodwill is committed again $500,000 toward the demolition, job creation, and economic inclusion. The Opportunity Campus, which will be enhanced by the Opportunity Village development, supports over 200 jobs with an average of $59,000 annually. The village itself is part of a campus that includes Norton's Healthcare Hospital, creating an additional 100 jobs with an average salary of $60,000 a year. Goodwill has a strong history in inclusive contracting, evidenced by allocating 34% of the Opportunity Campus construction spending to MBEs and achieving a 66% minority workforce rate. In 2024, Goodwill paid over $15 million in wages to Louisville area employees, many of whom overcame justice-involved or recovery backgrounds. Workforce participation and upskilling. The Opportunity Campus provides direct access to job readiness workshops, legal services, soft skill training, financial literacy, dental care, and more, co-located with 12 service partners. From March to December 2024 alone, the campus delivered 31,416 services to 18,918 individuals, 80% of whom were low-income residents. The phased housing model supports individuals through reentry and workforce development, culminating in Opportunity Village Phase 4 permanent housing for those who have successfully reintegrated through stable employment, financial literacy, and personal accountability. Catalytic neighborhood impact. The 28th and Broadway corridor has seen over $70 million in recent investments, including the Norton Healthcare Hospital, which we all know of, $1 million Kroger investment, new sidewalks. Dare to Care is planning to move across the street. Opportunity Village residents will be within walking distance of childcare, transit, job training, legal aid, second chance banking, and healthcare. These interconnected resources create a first of its kind service ecosystem in Kentucky. Additional key project components, marketing strategy, a multi-channel approach leveraging in-person engagement, targeted outreach through the Opportunity Center, referral networks, and the partnerships, community-based marketing channels to reach West Louisville residents most in need of affordable housing. So if this were to be approved after the next presentation, it's going to be open applications. So the objective would be to get the word out there to this community first, because this community, this group in particular, will know about the project before anyone else knows about it anywhere. Continued program support. Residents of the Opportunity Village will have ongoing access to Goodwill's wraparound services, including career coaching, financial literacy, and legal aid, ensuring sustained support beyond initial placement. Community-driven design. The project directly addresses resources identified by our residents during outreach meetings, ensuring that the development outcomes align with neighborhood priorities, and that's a request for low-income housing, of course. Program alignment and access. A participant scoring matrix is in place to ensure transparency and equity in how eligible individuals, particularly those completing Goodwill's housing and employment phases, are considered for residency. So Goodwill has a program. When someone enters that program, there are so many steps that they go through before they're moved into permanent housing. And we can vet that information of who was going into this housing, have they been through that program, and their actual success rate at some point. Environmental stewardship in 2024, Goodwill diverted more than 11.5 million pounds of reusable materials from landfills, reinforcing the organization's commitment to sustainability through its donated goods retail operation. So this again was just a summary. As Laura said, we want to tee this up and get it in front of you. We can share this. We'll give a more formal presentation during that board meeting that Laura and Rita, they're going to facilitate. Well, finance committee first, of course, and then the board meeting. So we just want to
be an investment by our organization.
Yes.
So aren't the businesses that are in the NIA Center trying to prevent the sale of that building because they want to buy it themselves?
They are.
There is some conversation going on. We haven't been privy to those exact conversations, but we've been told that Goodwill and the city are talking with those residents, the tenants in that building. They're working through that.
I can take the TARP board accepted Goodwill's offer to purchase today. And they have given a notice of termination of the lease. And they've given all the tenants 6 months free rent.
So if we're going to be partners, we're going to be seen as buying out small businesses for low-income housing.
Yes.
And I will say, I mean, to that very point, the way in which this has been done is not going to sit well with this community. Those business owners made an offer that was based on the appraisal, and were just told no. And then, but there was another fair market value or excuse me, they made it based on fair market value. There was appraisal done that they weren't privy to, that warranted the 2.1. They weren't informed, so there was no opportunity for them to negotiate or to see if they wanted to do it. So I think this is, I have great concerns about perception in terms of how this is happening and what's going on. But I would also say, like, I think it's important to talk about what the NIA Center just as a building in this community has been. Like, has been an important structure, and while granted it has changed and evolved over time, I don't think that can be discounted. That building itself actually means something to a lot of people.
So again, we're teeing this up. We're not going to be making a decision today. There will be a finance committee meeting where all the details will be set out. The purchase price for the building is set at this point. It's not negotiable. Apparently TARC has to, since they bought the building with a federal grant, they have to sell it at the price that the feds say they need to be reimbursed. That's one of the factors that anyone who's interested in purchasing the building has to deal with. But again, this just tees up the discussion. We'll have a thorough discussion of this in the finance committee meeting that's called, and also in the board meeting.
And I would say if there's any questions that we can address, just shoot them over to us and we'll try to dig as much as we can into whatever you need.
Can I make a couple of comments, sir?
Yes, sir.
My understanding is that TARC is the current owner of this building.
Yes,
Is that
yes.
correct? Before this board could purchase any building, I think would be a very good idea for us to set up an inspection, at least a walkthrough by all board members. Because, when you purchase property, you want to determine how much am I going to have to spend to maintain this property. So, I mean, we need to really evaluate and
Well,
have some professional people come in and look at the
what
structure.
is planned is the building will be demolished in order to build the transitional housing.
So
That's the request from Goodwill.
so what is this organization actually owning? A plot of land then?
Yes, which
What
will
about-
appreciate in value, which will be carried as an asset on our balance sheet.
For $2.1 million.
Yes. And we are making it possible for Norton's Hospital to expand at some point in the future. The only hospital located in West Louisville, and they've already said they need some expansion land. So we would be facilitating that as well. Those are the things that will be considered.
That'll be tied directly to the language in the agreement.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Travis.
Can I ask a really quick question?
Oh, yeah, sorry, Dr. Gabe, yes.
No, that's okay. I just want to make sure I understand. So I heard someone mention, so it would be an equity investment, but I just want to make sure that I'm thinking through this correctly. So who would own the property after that? We would?
Yes,
Okay, so by equity investment, so we would be buying the property and holding it until such time as we sold it to whoever wanted to use it next, potentially Norton Hospital? Is that correct?
No, we would purchase the property and Goodwill has an outlot that's closer to where the Norton's Hospital is. They will sell that lot to Norton's immediately with this transaction. And then if Norton's expands, it will expand on that outlot. This particular plot that we are purchasing, that's where the transitional housing will be constructed.
And we would maintain ownership of the land throughout that, or then it would go to Goodwill or whoever's building the transitional housing?
Maintain it.
We would maintain ownership for at least 15 years while the tax credits are recaptured. And at the end of the 15 years, we could make a deal to sell it. We could decide to hold on to it, but it would be the land itself would then be leased to Goodwill, the limited partnership that would own the apartments that are being built on the property.
Based on the conversations that have been had, are we, depending on however this will, are we wed to this having to go to Google? If it is our equity investment, if we are paying for the land, are we wed to them being the ultimate tenants of that property?
Yeah, Goodwill is tied to Woda Cooper, who has the tax credits to build the property, to build the building.
That can't be used for the purchase itself. That's the
Correct.
that was the approach. I don't think that anyone would be coming for the purchase if it weren't for that deal.
But we could buy the Nia Center.
But we could buy, that's my point.
If TARC were interested.
Right.
We don't have tax credits. And I'm assuming Goodwill, is it a ground lease or a joint venture with the West End Opportunity Partnership during the life of this project?
Woda Cooper and Goodwill already have a limited partnership for the construction and operation of the apartments. So we're looking at multiple structures. One would simply be we'd own the fee and then there would be a ground lease to Goodwill, who would then lease it to the limited partnership, or we would own it jointly. But the simplest is we would simply purchase it and lease it.
So if I may throw out a suggestion, at least to explore, if it is possible, if TARC is willing to negotiate directly with us for the purchase of the Nia Center, I would suggest maybe going down that road and then perhaps opening up bids for partnership for an entity for which Goodwill can apply and do exactly what they want to do. But if there are others, because they ain't the only people who have tax credits in town, right? Like they aren't the only people who have the ability or the capacity to build on that, to do something with that land. Opening it up for people to then say, hey, here's what I'd like to do with that. We facilitate a process that says, bring your proposals, we can do it the same way we do these. And then we can make a decision as a board. That way we are not solely tied to whatever it is that Goodwill has already made up their mind to do, but it allows this community and others to be able to provide options, or at least put forth an option to say, hey, what if we did this? What if those business owners could find the other money that they said they wanted to develop, whatever the case may
But
be.
that, what you've described is a possibility, but what it also means is that definitely the tax credits that are on the table now would go away. And so the issue becomes, do we want those tax credits to just disappear, or is there some reason to go forward so the community can take advantage of what's on the table now? And if those tax credits go away, I'm just laying out the possibilities. Is there a guarantee that they would come back at some point in the future after we went through a bidding process? Those are unknowns that are risky, you know.
Agreed, but
But it would certainly mean that the tax credits on the table now would go
Yes.
away.
But that is a problem. Good. That doesn't necessarily make that a problem. for
It's the
us.
problem for the community because it's tied to that transitional housing. That's the get. The get is that transitional housing for people leaving incarceration. That's the issue.
Typically, Kentucky Housing Corporation does not fulfill all the well, they do not fulfill all of the tax credit allocation to those that apply. So in other words, the competition for these tax credits is pretty extreme.
Let me tell you something, it's fierce. I'm chairman of the Kentucky Housing Corporation for 12 years. I mean, it is very, very competitive.
So if they go away, we don't know if they come.
Right.
Okay, so stay tuned. We'll poll the finance committee and then the board on the best time for the call. So thank you for your attention. Thank you.
I think we're finished.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Travis, for all that you have added to the conversation as well, for everyone else.
Thank you very much. Right, thank you.
That will put us in the board development. Jennifer Hancock. Thank you
Yeah,
so
just a
much.
very brief update. Our committee has not convened because we have given time and space to Dr. Wade and her team to develop the campaign that you saw this evening. They need to launch that campaign and we hope that it is successful in securing applicants. I saw that the board, the website for the partnership has been updated so that it's very obvious that we are seeking applicants for this body. So my hope is between now and the next time we convene as a full board, well, except for the special meeting, but our next board meeting is the last of July. So the goal would be that we give that campaign time to get out in front of everybody, have applicants, convene the committee, come back to you in July with recommendations for those neighborhood seats. And then we have the foundation seat and the Simmons seat that we're still working on. We hope to come forward with recommendations as well, but we'll convene our committee this summer and hopefully before our next full board meeting.
Thank you very much, which will bring us to our committee, community engagement with Dr. Gabriel Jones Jr.
Thanks for the emphasis. As always, I'm going to be very brief. I don't have any new info today. Much of what we've been up to was shared in Dr. Wade's presentation, and I don't know if Dr. Wade is still there, but I thought that was very well done. But we have essentially been trying to stay in contact with Dr. Wade's team about the pain points and the issues that we want to prioritize from a community engagement perspective going forward. And they have been working to sort of build out what it looks like to execute those strategies. So other than that, I don't have anything.
Thank you very much. And that brings us to old business. Business.
Well, spoke business or not, but on the portal with those bi-weekly reports reports that Travis, I guess Travis grades. Can we get those sent out? Is that possible?
The reports themselves,
Bi-weekly ones? Those are pretty cool.
as long as- I don't mind, yeah, because it's on the portal, with the shared
in the
portal, but if
portal.
you all want us to send them out, absolutely. It's not a big deal
Is-
for us, but that's for you all to decide.
Would that be more convenient because you do have
I
access
didn't even
to?
know they were there. I was just messing around. I was just messing around and I saw them.
Yeah,
So,
you-
yeah, and I don't know if
we've
anybody
talked
else has
about
actually
it.
looked at it.
Yeah, we put all the
Some
information in
previous
one portal.
meetings To let everybody know that you, as a board member, you can go in there and look at whatever's in there.
Yes, I would suggest if you haven't looked at the bi-weekly reports, it basically gives you everything that Travis has talked about with a lot of good information and scores and that type of
Yeah.
stuff. So,
Yeah, the portal exists. All of the finance committee people have access. Some board members have asked for access and some haven't. So what, Chris is talking about is in the portal. So we put it in the portal to try to minimize the paper and the repetitiveness. So everybody has access to it who wants to see it. It's in the portal. If anyone doesn't have access, let us know now. Travis will get you in. We're trying to elevate our level of efficiency if we can do that. So we certainly appreciate it. And I'm sorry, I have my liners in and it's making me lisp. I probably have lipstick all over it, but no, that's okay. So if I'm talking funny, that's what's going on. But yes, so if you need access, just let us know. Travis and his team will make sure you have access. And Chris, you were one of the early people.
yeah, but
Hello.
I just found them.
Okay, any other old business? Brings us to new business, Wonderful, great, and terrific. All right, so as you can see, we have our 2025 board meeting schedule and you notice that our next board meeting will be the end of July. That will bring us to adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Oh, wow.
Thank you. Thank you. Let me,
Good seeing you.
yeah.
Thank